First game today, the second game here. Man, Wildsel becoming a go-to blind ban hero.
It will always be banned, I think, against TDM, and I think even more teams than TDM, people are starting to realize that hero has massive potential in that suicide lane. It's almost unfair how good he is in that suicide lane in this game. There's really nothing you can do about it. The only thing I can think of that really counters, I shouldn't even say counters, but can actually kill the bear before it pulls the creeps fully, is if you have to, first of all, have to find him early, and it's Slither, and it's that spray and getting that slow onto him. Of course, yeah, it's still not guaranteed. That's the only thing I can think of, but even then, it's still difficult. That bear has, I think, 2,000 HP at level 1. But yeah. So the locks have actually finished. We got Tempest, Pharaoh yet again, Keeper of the Forest yet again, Bubbles yet again, and then Play Greater Than Silhouette as the final two locks right there.
Yeah, last game, you know, we made the mention that we had Dark Lady locked in. It is kind of rare to see a carry hero like that locked in the pool.
And it wasn't even picked.
It wasn't even picked. This game we have Silhouette locked. And again, still kind of rare in that sense, but Complexity, they first picked Silhouette last game. Kind of valuing her very hard, despite Mage Bane and, again, Dark Lady even being in that locked pool, and, of course, even Forsaken Archer. So, but they went with the first pick Silhouette. So here we are now with this lock pool happening. Of course, the bans happening here. Magnus, Fade, Witchslayer into Dark Lady, and now two more on the table between these two teams. So can't wait to get to that picking stage, though. Going to be a lot of fun here, I'm sure, between these two teams. But yeah, seeing the lock pool once again, nothing really odd to talk about. There's an Nymphora ban. So usually it'd be Complexity the ones to ban Nymphora. Again, B-Kid, Nymphora, and then Jerizai is another one who's still on the board, mind you.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, so he first banned him last game. This game, more access to final ban. So just saying, Jerizai is there.
Well, maybe there's this thing about TDM is they picked Jerizai in the series yesterday against Complexity, and it did not work out at all. Of course, they were playing against the level 1 Kongor team. Yeah, and they had that to deal with. So with that said, there's kind of all strategy out the window once, oh, well, crap, they just Kongored. Let's, well, we have to wait for 50 minutes to concede. Yeah. Let's just kind of screw around. But no, yeah, seriously, it is a very strong hero, and I could maybe even see Complexity pick him up. Of course, I never see them run it, but Polywog is going to be the first pick for TDM, kind of in their comfort zone. Limp plays a very, very good Polywog.
Yeah.
So.
Because, I mean, speaking of that, you know, Nymphora, a hero that we don't really see Complexity play either, sure enough, the first game. So, this time around, perhaps, he has his potential. I
definitely think the crazy picks are going to happen this game, so we'll have to wait and see. B-Kid's picks are ready to go. He's got 2 picks right now, and let's throw out some thoughts here. What do you think, Breaky?
I want to see
Swiftblade?
Swiftblade would be kind of cool. You know, he's definitely a carry hero that could be pretty entertaining to watch. I still want to see Berserker. Berserker is a hero for me that God, he hits so like a freaking truck, man, in that later game stage especially, and he could be pretty entertaining to watch on top of that. So I really would have liked to see a Berserker. I would like to see Solstice, but I know that's not going to happen for a while, unfortunately, being the new hero, of course. But yeah, Berserker for me is the one hero that I really would like to see. But
so Breaky wants to see Berserker. I want to see Revenant.
Are we allowed to put in suggestions for Complexity? Can we send that somewhere? So
I mean, I've been talking with Beacon. He knows the power of Revenant, and I would love to see
Revenant
that
is another hero, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that there. There's Succubus, followed by Balloon. Now, Succubus, I mean, we saw Succubus yesterday, actually. It was that level 1 Kongor game, speaking of that. So,
exactly.
Nothing too crazy there. There's the Draconis pick. I totally passed him.
I know.
Bad, but Draconis Glacius, the follow-up picks here.
We're rambling on. Oh, yeah, there's a Draconis unbanned.
We just want to see these crazy picks. We're not even worried about the regular picks.
I know.
The actual game.
Well, I could throw them off. I mean, Succubus and Luna, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, with that Draconis still in that pool, maybe they're going to go for a Mage Bane here and just kind of out-farm them, and maybe they're going to play a little bit seriously now that they were like, oh, wait, maybe they forgot Draconis in the pool. I certainly did. I don't know. No, I'm sure they knew, but yeah, maybe they're actually Haxman's still right-clicking Draconis. They're going to go with the War Beast, though. So Chessie on that War Beast is probably going to be jungling up in his safe jungle. We'll have to wait and see if TDM, what they do to maybe respond to that and counter that War Beast pick. It is very easy to run him out of the jungle and get him to farm very slowly. It's very easy to do that, especially pre-level 6 before he has the ultimate with that max movement speed. once he activates it.
Yeah, so going to the lockpick stage, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have really anything too awkward here in game number 2. Like you were even really expecting, and as they may have hinted at the end. So I don't know if that's just cold feet all of a sudden. Once they get in the game, they're like, maybe we should take this more seriously. There is $6,500 on the line, so it's easy for us to just sit back and be like, come on, pick Devour, just have some fun this game. But it's another thing to actually be playing it and knowing that you're competing for money and, of course, pride and everything else. So. So not this game, but again, it is a best out of 5. So no matter what happens this game, there will at least be a third game, depending on the situation. But TDM, man, they're using a lot of extra time here to determine who they're going to first pick out of this pool.
I actually think this would be silly, but I actually think if they picked Silhouette right here, it might even work well. I think Complexity is just banking on the fact, well, they've already picked Draconis, they can't pick a carry, and no, they're not going to screw him over. So they're going to go with a Pharaoh, something more safe. They realize they don't really need to pick a jungler right here with Warbeast already out. I expect Silhouette for sure, probably Silhouette Bubbles here.
Yeah.
That would be very Complexity. Yeah, Succubus mid, there's a Silhouette. Come on, pick the Bubbles, make me right, prove me right.
It's all about me, make me right.
Me.
Silhouette, you got one of the two at least. But you are right. I mean, Bubbles definitely is Complexity-esque, as you put it. So Keeper the Force, though.
Suicide Keeper?
Actually, so I guess, yeah, Suicide Keeper. Or perhaps a laning Warbeast? No, it's not going to be that.
They could, but it's very weak.
Yeah. Hey, try something new, right?
Yeah.
Tempest happens to be the final pick for Trademark eSports. So, of course, they finished off strong. So, yeah, both team lineups and definitely have a good amount of potential here. Like I said, we got to see Succubus yesterday, but that is still a rare hero to see, and it wasn't a level 1 Conquer game, so maybe that was a little bit different. Now, TDM, they have a Conquer killing team. They got Pharaoh, so
yeah,
just saying no. But
I don't understand. Okay, Moonmeander is playing that Keeper, so it's very obviously going to be a Suicide Keeper, and with Bubbles still in that pool, and Moon plays such a great Bubbles, I don't know why they would pick Keeper over Bubbles, especially Bubbles is very good against Pharaoh specifically. Pharaoh can't really go onto a Bubbles. The Silence is also very good against Tempest and Poly and even Glacius. And the Kelpfield, of course, is very good against really any hero.
Yeah, it's good for Warbeast.
Yeah, exactly. God, you were right on. Because I wasn't even thinking about that.
I'm learning from you, Trow.
It's amazing with Warbeast. That's totally correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of interesting that they're going to go with that pick, especially when it's going to be probably a Draconis Glacius in that bottom lane. And Glacius is good against Keeper because that Ice Imprisonment obviously reveals. And once it hits a minute 30, they're going to have those Words of Revelation available. And I feel like they could actually net very easy kills onto a Suicide Keeper. But we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. But yeah, I definitely would have preferred to see that Bubbles. But of course, Keeper does bring a lot to the table in team fights. So
yeah. Yeah, and again, this is definitely something different, too. We have seen it for every now and then lately for the Suicide Keeper the Force, but still fairly new on the competitive scene, so I'm curious to see how Moonmeander does with that. You see, ran way out there. He spawned the animated trees, and now he's going back to base. He did this yesterday, too, I believe. Or not yesterday. Maybe it was, actually. I think he might have ran that. So, we mentioned how he was getting late to the lane because of this, but... Anyways, he is scouting out what that is going to go back right now and regen.
He learned from his mistakes. He's going to be there on time now.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very close. See him at the edge of it, and now he's running back, spawns the trees. Going to get that mana, and there's the creep wave. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty damn close. But Aluna is heading back towards the top lane after facing the Ward of Sight. So we are getting an idea of how the matchups are going to look. Straight up, Succubus versus Polywog Priest, Limp versus B-Kid. Succubus have the advantage? Do you think? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was getting some talking.
Some other people talking. Succubus versus Polywog Priest. So who do you see having the advantage here?
Definitely Succubus, no question, and no question about that. He just has the better animation, has the life leech ability, and it makes it very easy for him to man up and not worry about dying. But bottom lane, the lane was kind of pushed back a little bit from the Warbeast Wolves, and now actually Moon's going to do the same thing with his animated trees. He's going to pull the lane, and if they're smart about this, Glacius should just drag these creeps to the Warbeast minion, or sorry, the tree dogs from Keeper the Forest. He's trying his best to stop it, but he's not going to be able to. So similar to a Wild Soul, they're going to use this Keeper the Forest, and maybe this is the strategy that they were talking about, or something new, something different. And see, this is exactly what Wild Soul would do, except it's with a bear. This time it's with animated trees, so it's going to work out in his favor.
Yeah, you see him keeping it in front of the creep or the tower, of course, and now pushing it up with the creep wave right there. So, Yeah, it's going to allow him to get some decent levels and some good farm out of it. You got Draconis all the way back in between the two towers, actually. Not too often you see that, but again, with the lane pulling, that's what's going to take place. So, of course, Draconis being played by Noob G here for Trademark eSports, the farming specialist, both the hero and the player. We'll see, keep an eye on how his goal per minute starts to jump up throughout this game. Then there's the top lane to talk about. You do have a Silhouette Silhouette Illuna, and then Tempest kind of pseudo-trial lane going up against, of course, the Suicide Specialist and Zai playing that Pharaoh. He's going to run into Warbeast. I don't know why I said Tempest, that's Warbeast. But anyways, Pharaoh is going to start falling back as the Hellhounds are harassing him. And just take what he can get. But yeah, Silhouette being played by Hackstron, of course. He's just going to absolutely free-farm this game. Nothing really too new there, as he is right now the top creep scorer in the game. No, he's not. He's top GPM, but he's 8-5 currently, compared to a 10-2 Draconis actually. So Lane is getting pushed up a little bit here, though.
Yeah, and then the big thing here too is that the ward was placed. The ward decided to block the spawn for the main pulling camp for TDM, and that's really important with them, especially against the keeper that's pulling. So they're not going to have the ability to double stack that and utilize that farm. And Keeper's going to get free levels right now. Actually, he's only level 2. And actually type with Zai up here in the top lane. Chessie's getting some favorable spawns here in the jungle. I saw him take out Skeleton. That's probably the best spawn you can get in a hard camp for Warbeast. And now he's taking out some Spore Spitters. And he does have a unfortunate Catman champion stack right there. And actually, unfortunately, he killed this medium camp after 37 seconds, so it's not going to respawn. Kind of unfortunate. What you can do is if you look to the right where that ramp is, if you pull them right when you get to that ramp, they will not go back to their spawn, but yet you can still kill them, and they will not be in that respawn zone. So unfortunate for him, he's not going to have that spawn to work with. He's now taking some creeps because this camp actually was not warded for Complexity, so he's going to have that to work with, whereas Complexity did get the ward down for TDM's main pull spot. So
yeah. And speaking of that, again, keeping the force down here at the bottom lane. Obviously, his creep score not too impressive, 5-1. Being level 3 is just leeching experience whenever possible. And I don't know, what about you? I mean, I'm a little bit surprised, maybe why he's not using the Nature's Veil kind of just to sit close and leech more experience. I guess he is close enough right here, perhaps. At the top, but in the meantime, Pharaoh's actually dropping quickly. Bloodlust kill will come out as Franzi actually power throws to finish him off. So rambling on there and nearly missing that top action, but just barely caught the tail end of it as Zai goes down. So good aggression for the top side, and Zai, unfortunately for him, he gets bloodlusted there. Yeah,
actually, Chessie pulled this creep wave here, too, so these soldiers are going to go to the second tower. That's unfortunate. That's going to be a little bit of farm that Hackstron's going to miss out on.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's going to go to the tower. He's actually going to get up there, maybe farm it himself. Misses one creep, but he's probably going to get these as well. So, yeah, he's off to a great start. He did actually not go for that early Ring of the Teacher on the Warbeast. He always seems to go something different each game. But yeah, maybe an early Steam Boots, not quite sure. But mid lane, they've actually switched it up. Illuna's now in the mid. They realize that they do not need Illuna and Silhouette up here against this Pharaoh. Silhouette's going to be doing just fine. That's what I'm talking about when I've said before in games. Yeah. Don't leave right away. Even though straight up Silhouette versus Pharaoh, Silhouette should win every single time. You should still, regardless, give her a sizable lead and then move. And we've seen teams, unfortunately, not necessarily as high level as these players, or these teams, I should say, that will leave way too early. But this is exactly what you should do. Give them a sizable lead and then move, and then give your other lanes.
Yeah, of course, Franzi has plenty of experience there playing that support role and doing it well once again here. Middle matchup, though, you were just kind of talking about that. Poliwag Priest versus Succubus. Poliwag Priest was even in the lead of Creep Farm before Illuna got here, actually. But since Illuna's been here, Beacon has it's allowed him to really free farm against this Poliwag Priest, and now it's starting to pull ahead a little bit. But it seemed like Limp was actually holding his own against the Succubus. A little bit surprising there, but keep in mind now, Succubus is very close to level 6, I'm sure. And as soon as that happens, Poliwag Priest will need to be very, very careful about getting caught. But, vice versa at the same time. We do have an Invisible Tempest, level 6, roaming in the middle lane here. And perhaps going to try to maybe bait even once they do jump Poliwag Priest and then cancel it.
That would be perfect, actually. If Poliwag sits up here, baits it. I mean, they should have no idea that he's invis.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a ward down the bottom, and it's been there for some time, so if the invis was bottom, which I think it is, they probably do have an idea, actually. So maybe that's why Beacon's not going on him, because, if they didn't know that he was there, that would be a very, very easy kill onto Poliwag. So they definitely know that he's invis.
Well, yeah, he did just check the bottom room, but it does on top. Of course, Haste going to be up there. We do see Tempest coming out, though. Tempest has an ultimate. There's the ultimate. It cancels a Succubus hold, and Succubus and Aluna are a lot of trouble. There's a double tap for the team. So you said they were suspecting it, perhaps, but even if you suspect it, it doesn't mean you can prevent it from happening fully. Very good patience in the end by Miles and Tempest right there. And then he goes up to bottle up the Haste rune in the end as well. The wards are just out of tower range. That would have been the best right there. That would have been a tower kill as well.
That would have been the icing on the cake if he just positioned the wards just a little bit further. Of course, in a kill like that, you're going to do everything you can to get them dead before they get away. So I don't blame him. But yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. It would be a tower kill. They might actually get this defended. Minus here is he does not have actually any elementals as they're all dead. The glyph was used. There's the portal into mid. Is it going to be close? Is it going to get denied? One more tick. Okay, so Chessie is actually the one that poured in. Gets credit for the deny. Yeah. Nonetheless, the tower is down. Chessie, by the way, I'm sure is going to go for an early Whispering Helm. He has the Helm of the Victim. There's really no point to get, say, a what's the other item you can buy with it?
The Shaman Centris.
Shaman Centris or the Incantarius. That's what I was thinking of. So, yeah, he's probably going to go for that Whispering Helm. And that should be interesting. Last time we saw him do it, he microed very well. It's very effective with your ultimate. The creeps that you dominate get all the special effects, I should say, from your ultimate. So
yeah, you were kind of making the point that maybe it is more of a trollish style, but you're right. I mean, the last time we saw him get it, it actually worked out very well. He got a Minotaur, I believe, and he was using it to micro with it and set up some stuns for him to eventually chase them down. As he said, they get the buff as well from his aura, so it actually can work out pretty well in the end. And it does seem like Chessie is going to be going that, having the Helm of the Victim. Of course, needs the Hungry Spirit. And then that will be complete. Succubus racing towards the bottom room, but Tempest will get the first, but he does have a mesmerized. But Tempest says, screw you, I'm just going to kill it. Not even need it anyways before you do anything to me. So good job right there by Tempest, and that's going to frustrate Beacon, I'm sure. But he'll just go back to the middle and continue to farm himself. So, yeah, things right now for Trademark eSports looking pretty good after what happened there in the middle of Atlanta. Granted, they didn't get the tower kill, but as he said, it is dead. That's what really matters in the end. Whispering Elm has been finished by Warbeast, but look at overall farm in this game. Succubus or not Succubus, but Silhouette is leading the way at 335 gold per minute. But then you got Tempest and then Draconis, of course. He is following suit. They're pretty much neck and neck with each other at around 312 gold per minute or so. So both Noob G and Haxer here seem like they're having a pretty good start. Polywog Priest of War Trap not successful. It's not going to matter in the end though. Just barely enough damage to take out Franzi on Luna right there. And now Polywog Priest is going to take a Mesmerize, but he'll be fine. He saw Chessie coming over with the Skeleton King, actually, that he took over, but obviously not there in time.
Yeah, he's going to use that maybe to stank bottom, maybe use that to get some support, or give some support to Moon bottom. But yeah, either way. I actually was wondering if the wards could wake up Polywog, but I don't think they can, because that would be kind of funny to see a Voodoo ward slept.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, gets a good kill in the mid. This is going to be a lot better of a game for Polywog, or Limp, I should say, than yesterday when he played Poly. I think it was Game 3, where he just was able to get nothing. I can't remember if it was Game 3, but either way, one of those games, it was just such a suffer for him. Bottom lane, actually, Draconis is in a lot of trouble. The ultimate comes out. Actually, here comes Warbeast with that Skeleton King. Does get it off. Is it going to be enough? The ultimate is off cooldown in a little bit. Not going to be enough damage. That's unfortunate. Actually, look, his Skeleton King died.
Yeah.
So, bam, Whispering Helm is kind of that's what I'm talking about. If you're not able to micro it properly, unfortunately, that's a completely wasted cooldown. Now, 218 seconds now that he cannot use that. So, that's the reason why I really don't like the item. I think he maybe should have waited. Actually, the hook came out onto bottom lane. Pharaoh's in a lot of, or sorry, Keeper the Forest is in a lot of trouble. They had the Ward of Revelation actually there placed at the defense tower. Noob G getting credit for the kill.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Succubus hold coming into Tempest. Now, Tempest does have a haste, and if he can get out of this in time, Heartache's going to be used, I'm sure, though. Nice stun right there, but no, just not away. Luna will get credit for the kill. Luna will fall in the process, though. Succubus now trying to get away. She'll use the Heartache for some heal, but what is it going to be enough? I don't know if it is. Glacius coming in. There's a Mesmerize, though. And yes, Beacon will survive when it's all said and done. While that's all happening, Haxerin is busy at top lane, pushing up here. This kind of does go back to what you brought up yesterday, though, with TT eSports versus TDM, and how you mentioned with Slicks playing that carry role. And, of course, you brought up Haxerin as kind of a comparison, being both great carry players themselves, but Haxerin more of the sit in lane and just to do your thing and get the farm up as a result of that. Slicks is more of the, I'm going to support my team, I'm going to pour it in and set up turnaround kills. So you got to wonder, if he had a Homecoming Stone and if he was got involved there at the bottom lane, if that could have been a little bit different. I
mean, obviously you can't criticize Haxerin because their win rate is so high, and obviously he's doing something correct. But at the same time, I still feel like I love watching Slicks. I love his way of supporting his team, even though he's on the carry. And I think it doesn't. I don't think it hurts to even just hold a TP scroll or Homecoming Stone on you, just for that. Having that available. If there is a huge team fight, and if there's a possibility that you can net 3 or 4 kills out of that, then why not? Just hold it onto you and then make the best out of it if you can. But yeah, that's just the only thing. I just love watching Slicks play. Of course, Haxman, he does a good job in himself. Always gets the farm. Always sits up there in lane, just farms, and it works out almost, very high percentage of the time. So.
Yeah. I mean, you are right. Obviously, by no means trying to criticize Haxman in that sense or even saying he's bad for that reason. Definitely, but
no.
The win rate clearly, as you said, speaks for itself. So obviously, doing his job very, very well. Definitely one of the best out there. But just a little bit curious, if he was support to that bottom lane, maybe if something could have happened. But anyways, he is continuing to push his top lane and maybe in a little bit of trouble as Glacius running over, but he is going to fall back before that eventually gets there, and he'll be more than fine. He already has that sustainer finish. He's farming 380 gold per minute currently, and about 1,000+ gold saved up. We do see some counter running going on. Franz going to take out that Ward of Sight, but at what cost right here? The Ward's going to come down. There's the tongue-tied, and Aluna will fall as Zai actually snipes the kill with the Tormented Soul. Not even do that on purpose, obviously. It takes a while to get there. But hey, they get the kill. That's what matters. And now a 6-2 hero code advantage for Trademark eSports. So again, in that sense, looking pretty good for TDM. And Draconis not winning the game in GPM, but he is holding his own at the same time. I mean, he is at 365 GPM himself. Not too shabby, being level 9 on top of that. So this is kind of that mark where we start seeing him go around the jungle a little bit more, maybe look to start taking out those triple-stacked Ancients, which you see right here are going to be pulled by Glacius, and that will eventually set up triple stack. So I wonder if Draconis is maybe going to clean up this creep wave down here, and then port middle, and then look to take this out.
I think his Ward of Revelation blocks his own spawn. They actually,
wow.
he did know that Complexity warded that,
yeah.
And so he got rid of that with his own Ward of Revelation, but I believe, unless he stacked it improperly, it is going to block his own spawn, so that's unfortunate for another 150 seconds.
Oops.
Yeah, that sucks.
That does suck. I've always wondered about that. If you do misplace your own ward, you can't like self-destroy it. I've always thought that might be an interesting mechanic to put in, but
it sucks because sometimes if the ward, say, is placed really deep or in the perfect spot, the first ward, then it sometimes is impossible to actually get a proper Ward of Revelation that's not going to block, that's going to still be in range to see that ward.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're going to, because you don't know where they're going to place it. You obviously want to place it as close as you can so you can actually get rid of it, but at the same time you don't want to block your camp. So it's hard. It's difficult. But that's just unfortunate. I'm pretty sure it does block it.
This is funny what Chelsea's doing right here. He's going to try to snipe some of these kills with the Hellhounds, I believe. Oh no, he's just scouting out because in comes Succubus actually puts the Heartache. The Power Throw just out of range. It's going to use the holding to Glacius. So she chose not to use the hold, but Glacius was here, so that's probably for the better. Probably would have just been frozen anyways, but Draconis will somehow manage to live as Insania goes down to Glacius. But I think if you're TDM, you're just happy that Draconis barely escaped out of there. And it did kill at least most, if not all, of those ancient creeps there. So that still worked out fairly well in the end for TDM.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Ancients I don't really believe have been stacked early on for Complexity. I think they've just been killed by Moon Meander. So Silhouette's not going to have that to work with. In fact, really none of his camps are stacked at this point. I'm looking at all of them, and not a single one has been stacked, so that's kind of unfortunate. As he's getting closer and closer to this Nullstone, not the earliest we've seen, despite him actually having complete full reign in this top lane and the jungle to work with, but he's going to stack it a little bit himself, I'm sure. They actually attempted Kongor there for a split second, but realized, yeah, we're not even close to having the damage.
Yeah.
They would have to have, I think, their whole entire team there, and maybe they realized that maybe Insania or TDM had vision of them, so they're just going to back away from that.
I just love these small plays from Chessie. He's using the Hellhounds. He blocked a stack attempt here in the jungle just with the Hellhounds. He sat him in the camp, and so it didn't double stack. And again, it's just small things like that that really will add up throughout this game, especially when you're dealing against Draconis, who just really just drops those stacks in seconds. So, again, just great, just smart play coming up from Chessie, and, using the minions. And if he's not going to use them to help farm himself, he doesn't necessarily need them to farm, and going to prevent farm and by using them that way. So, yeah, just it's definitely entertaining to just watch play like that and realize why they are in just such a high level that they are. 2,000 gold, though, saved up on Draconis. So, yeah, he's very close to finishing that blood, or picking up the Blessed Orb, I should say. As is Silhouette, actually. She has 2,400 gold. So she even has enough. She continues to be barely, well, right now the GPM chart says otherwise. Draconis is now ahead of Silhouette at 400 gold per minute. Again, this is Draconis for you. This is what he does. It's just going to start going
Silhouette
off.
bought the Nullstone recipe. It's on the courier, but there's no Blessed Orb as well.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. Maybe he just wants to have the recipe and he's going to pick up the Blessed Orb in the side shop. But Pharaoh actually might be in a lot of trouble. I don't know if they spotted him out. Maybe no, they didn't. They're going to actually spot him out with the Hellhounds that are invisible. So, not going to reveal him just yet. Maybe because if he walks back, he's definitely going to die to the Silhouette and a Luna combination. It's going to be close. Word of Revelation placed by Franzi. Not going to find anything, unfortunately. But, yeah, look at this standoff right here. He's just standing here. He doesn't want to do anything just yet. There's actually the Blessed Orb picked up for Draconis, but, yeah, Silhouette, that's kind of interesting. Has the recipe, no Blessed Orb, but wants to get that and probably just pick up the recipe closer to the side stop so she doesn't really have to move around or wait for the courier.
It's kind of funny because in the side inventory on the side of the screen, it actually shows her having a full-done Nullstone as well as a Sustainer. But, of course, you click on it, that's just the pattern. Not actually the full Nullstone. So
yeah.
Needs the Blessed Orb. It's like, God, its farm just really enhanced. No.
Yeah.
Right, he's going to go to the side shop right now, though. He will actually finish the Blessed or the Nullstone. There you go.
It's
So
actually a smart play because if you think about it, she would have to send the courier for the Blessed Orb or wait until she got the Blessed Orb from the outpost and then have to wait for the courier to send the Nullstone. That way she can just get it right away. So that actually is a little you talk about little things that matter. I mean, that makes it so the courier can be available for someone else quicker.
True.
So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting play there. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, very good point. I mean, on the other hand, you could say going to the side shop to pick up the Blessed Orb and then farm and then go for the pattern, you will at least have the stats from the Blessed Orb while you're continuing to farm. So
Right, but this way he doesn't have to wait.
Yeah, exactly.
So
triple stacked Ancients again. You see Chessie's over here with one Hellhound at least scouting it out. And here we go. He's running, and he does have a Minotaur controlled. And Draconis will be forced to fall back.
They
so
see them.
Yeah, they definitely know what's going on. And they're going to steal the triple stacked Ancients right here. This is going to hurt Draconis a lot right now. Oh, but just a great heads-up play for Complexity at the same time. But yeah, if you're TDM, I know Draconis is usually a hero that can just do them on his own, but they need to start thinking about supporting him if he's going to go over there, because clearly he's not able to freely do it, as Complexity just seems to know every single time he's about to.
Yep. I know they do, and it's not even with wards, I think. I mean, they do have a ward here at the top river, but it's not anywhere close to the Ancients. I think they're just scouting it out with the Wolves, or just have the good presence of mind and know. And actually, I believe Keeper of the Forest picked up a portal key. Yes, he did. So Keeper sitting at a Ring of Sorcery as well as a portal key. They're going to have that initiation now from him. And let's check out B-Kid. I'm pretty sure he has one himself. Yes, he does. Strider's a portal key. That seems to be B-Kid's item of choice.
Yeah.
Pretty much in all of his games when he plays that solo mid.
Yeah, the Witch Slayer build or the Succubus build, whatever it may be. Definitely his go-to build, weapon of choice, you could say. So, Polywalk Priest, 1,700 gold saved up, so well on the portal key himself. Tempest already has a portal key as well as a Bound Eye even, so fairly early Bound Eye. Look at all these stacks, though, in the jungle as Draconis is clearing them out. Tempest also actually getting a couple for himself, but kind of splitting some farm right there between the two. Right now, Draconis is sitting still around that 400 GPM mark. Again, still slightly ahead of Haxorn despite getting his Ancients stolen from him. They were not stolen by Silhouette, though. Of course, stolen by the rest of the team. They're going to group up, though, at the bottom lane. All 5 of them are here, and they're going to drop this tower quickly. There's nothing that Complexity is going to do. They say, hey, you've had a good life tower. You're up for 19.5 minutes. Your time has come, though. Sorry, buddy. This tower will fall. There's the splitting goal for the team. But in the meantime, they're just going to counter push. So this is what Complexity will do, as well as really all the other great teams. They'll make the best use of their time. And they are not going to successfully push the middle lane. The top lane being pressured a little bit by Silhouette. All the ports were used to the middle lane. And I'm sure Haxorn is very aware of this. He's going to go very aggressive here at the top side. And he's very likely going to get a tower kill out of this as a result.
There's one port available, and that's on Tempest, and there he goes. He's gonna swap out. He might still get this. Oh, no, it just died. So that would have been funny to see an Illusion get that. But the defense tower will be denied in the top lane. So at least Minus is there to handle that problem. But they do get the deny. They do get the tower in bottom, so a little bit better exchange for them. Nonetheless, lots of ports were used, and Silhouette's going to keep farming the jungle. Keeper of the Forest going to keep farming the jungle. Now it has his plated Greaves, so yeah, he's on initiation duty for this Complexity team, as well as B-Kid. And Warbeast, he's going to try to help carry this late, along with Silhouette. So they have really 2 heroes that are dishing out damage when it comes to the late game. For TDM side, they really only have 1, and that's this Draconis. So that's one of the scary things is when you do run Draconis is you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket. Of course, Pharaoh doesn't really have any farm. He's got an early Beast Heart, Grave Locket. It's actually quite tanky. Polywalk does have that initiation as well as the Energizer. By the way, Energizer picked up on the Tempest right after that portal key.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of like that pickup, to be honest. But I still think something like a Shrunken Head would be good. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe not, because there's a
You
number
look
of
for the
things.
Hellborn team, yeah.
Both Succubus and Keeper can cancel
I was just thinking
that.
that myself. It's actually quite a bit that can stop despite even having the Shrunken Head. So, yeah, I agree with you. I like that choice here by Tempest, and a choice, Energizer has been an item that we have been seeing more and more of, and they can definitely start using it to maybe set up some ganks. They're going to run into Keeper the Forest right here if they keep going. See Keeper, though, he's spinning, he's using one of the dogs to kind of scout it out, and so he should be fine when it's all said and done. 4 heroes are here, though. They're taking advantage of that bound die. I believe they just counter-warded right there as well. So destroying the vision that the Hellborn team has. They're going to run around a little bit in the middle lane, but again, they're being spotted by the animated tree, which they very well that they are. And so they will start to fall back. But Silhouette, yet again, will just continue to push the top lane while that action is happening. Draconis also doing his own thing in the jungle. He's got the Mighty Blade picked up, of course, on his way to his own Shrunken Head. 2,000 gold saved up on Silhouette, though, being played by Haxerin, so we'll see what he eventually goes for. Speaking of Shrunken Heads, Warbeast has just finished his own Shrunken Head to go with the Whispering Helm. And there's the Portal Key purchase, actually, from Silhouette coming out.
Yeah, they have all their core items. They can definitely take a team fight right now. And they're at a much better lead. And though the stats are, they are in their favor for sure, 2,000 in both categories. But I feel like it should be much higher than that. Their heroes are, in my opinion, they fight stronger as a team. Of course, Tempest does have that ultimate, but it can be countered very easily with the Keeper route. Now, Moonmeander, he seems like a player that really wants to initiate the start a fight. So hopefully he's can contain that just a little bit and just wait and cancel that Tempest ultimate, because there are a number of things right now that can cancel it, seeing how Tempest does not have a Shrunken Head. But I think the most important is for the Keeper to cancel that, because the range on this ultimate is so high.
Well, as I stressed earlier, yesterday as well when we were talking about it, naturally a Tempest Ultimate team will tend to kind of group up themselves as well to take advantage of everyone being in the hole and kind of get close to themselves and just really AoE burn them down. So that could also set up a favorable Keeper of the Forest Ultimate. So yeah, I think you're right just to say, just be patient, wait for that Tempest Ultimate to be used, and then eventually go in yourselves, but we'll see how that eventually plays out. Warbeast is going to actually get some Nature's Veil on him, so some regen as well as the armor buff. Is that maxed out at this point? Yes, it is. So he's applying 12 armor to his teammates, as well as the 4 health per second regeneration. Polywalk Priest, he's had that portal key now for a little bit. Again, 1,400 gold saved up and counting on Noob G on this Draconis. So still working towards that portal key. Something to keep in mind, though, Succubus is starting to level up the Smitten now, of course, naturally, being that she's level 12. She's going to have maxed out Smitten soon. That's going to be, what's the total reduction? It's going to be it's 40% damage reduction. Again, that's all damage output. That's not just physically more base damage. The top lane in the meantime, Pharaoh's actually in a lot of trouble. Succubus, so much damage, will get him killed as the Death Lotus nuke accomplishes that. So a good portal key, I'm sure, jump in from Haxerin, catching Zai off guard, and eventually setting up the kill. But that Smitten debuff can be very useful for complexity, actually, especially against the Draconis.
Yeah, he does have a Null Stone, and there's not very many things that can actually take it off. There's a Smitten. Actually, all of Succubus's abilities, but the Smitten's nice because it's got such a long range to it. I think it's 1,200 range. That's actually 1,000, but it's still a long range to take off Null Stone. Of course, the stun coming out from Luna is the only other thing I think here that will cancel it other than Succubus.
Oh, we have a jump over here. Draconis actually going aggressive on his Succubus with Polywalk Priest. Tempest is also nearby, but he chose not to go in and show himself. He's going to start falling back, though. Port was coming in, but it got canceled, actually, whoever that was. But a good jump coming out from Trademark. They're showing off their portal keys, and they end up taking out Limp right there. And actually, Draconis getting a little bit of revenge. He takes out some of the Ancients over here on Complexity's side, and now they're going to group up and push this bottom tower. Pharaoh's coming over still, but he'll eventually join them, and it will be a 5-man team. Keeper of the Forest is nearby. He's got that level 2 root, of course, but as we said earlier, maybe wants to be a little bit passive with that for now. There goes the tower kill, and TDM, good signs of life for them once again coming out, and very good pursuit right there. Tower kill on top of a hero kill.
Yeah, definitely. That'll help him a bit. Now, Silhouette is still getting very, very scary. Actually, still trailing. It feels like she should be a little bit higher GPM. Yeah. Now, Draconis did have, I don't want to say a harder time bottom, but it was more annoying because you constantly had those creeps pulled by Keeper of the Forest minions. Silhouette was just straight up, I'm going to dominate this lane. There's nothing you can do to me. I have a Luna supporting me. You're not pulling any creeps, and you didn't even ward our pull, so... Yeah, Silhouette still trailing, but that's the power of Draconis. Is really one of those fastest farming heroes in the game. On top of it being a very hard carry, does finish his Shrunken Head. So now they have some core items to work with. to work with to play against Complexity. Now, the Shrunken Head available still on Warbeast. He picked it up some time ago. Has another 1,600 gold, so not farming the fastest, but still dishing out a lot of damage with that ultimate.
Yeah. So you see a lot of group up here in the middle lane. Some possible fighting going to be taking place between these two teams. You have Aluna right next to Silhouette, making sure to kind of support her. Nice deny in the tower right there from Noob G coming out, actually. Of course, playing that Draconis as it got very, very close to being killed there by Complexity. Now, Succubus using an illusion right here. Beaka's trying to bait them out, maybe to use some abilities with the illusion, and we'll see if it actually works. Yep, Hex was used, so at least the Hex is down for another 10 seconds. I don't know if that's big enough to really make Complexity go in right here when it comes down to it. You see another illusion's going to come in. We'll see if they fall for it twice. Yeah, we'll see if a ward trap is used or something, but that's what they're looking for. But yeah, with the Hex, really not the ability that they're going for. So in the end, Complexity, it looks like they are just going to say, screw it, let's just fall back and maybe try to harass them at the Ancients. But they're going to scare back the animated trees, get some farm out of it, and now clean up these Ancients right here. So no fight going to be taking place just yet. I was really looking forward to a big team fight, but not just yet. Man, it's going to be pretty epic though once it happens, because both these teams